What's up everybody and welcome to Bonsai Den Haag. Just bought this small tree that we're gonna do a Christmas special for you today so that you can make from your Christmas tree a small little bonsai. Let's get started. What do you need for this? A scissor, you have a branch cutter and a wire cutter, and of course the wire, aluminum wire. So first thing you want to do is to start cleaning a little bit the tree, so you won't need all the branches. So the first thing you want to do, like I said, is to take off the branches that are growing very low on the tree. And we're gonna take also the needles that are growing on the trunk itself. And since this is a very young material, you will start completely from scratch. So this first time that you're working on this tree, you will just be giving like an overall shape so that you can let the tree grow over the years, and bit by bit you can start into creating your first own bonsai. So all the branches that are growing low on your tree, we're gonna take it out. And if you have a bigger tree, you can also look for the root base of the tree. And this is such a small trunk tree that there is no root base yet. It will develop during the time. And even if your tree don't make it, because you're a beginner and you're just starting out, it's a great exercise to getting to know how to get started with your first bonsai tree. And during this process you are also getting to know the tree. You're getting to see what the tree has to offer, how flexible are the branches, which branch you're gonna use into your design, and how you can apply wire width. And don't wait too long to do this. So if you have a tree in a pot right after Christmas, go and try to make into your first bonsai, and then put the tree outside. That will give the tree the biggest chance of surviving it and keeping it alive. And also the younger the tree, like this one, the bigger the chance of that the tree will survive. So, and then you have to decide more or less how big the tree will be. So now I removed all the needles that are on the tree, and in this particular case I will be wiring also the trunk of the tree. You can also choose, if you have a straight tree like this, to make into a straight trunk, get the branches down. But I like my trees to have a little bit of movement, so we're gonna make what we call in the bonsai an informal upright style, which is when the trunk has some movement. Therefore I will get some thick aluminum wire, and then we're gonna wire the trunk first. So, and then when you get the wire, you have to get enough length, so you get the length that you're gonna wire plus 1/3 extra. And here you're gonna even pick a little bit more to anchor into the ground. So the first thing I will do is to anchor the tree into the ground. So what you do is you take the aluminum wire, and then we're gonna stick in the ground. You can stick already with an angle of 45 degrees and as deep as you can, so that we can anchor the wire to give strength to bend the tree. And then you can start wiring the trunk by giving a more or less a 45 degrees angle, and you can use both hands in doing that, so that the wire will be on the tree with no gaps in between the wire. Like this. And if you encounter some needles, remove those before you continue wiring, so that you have a very clean wire on your tree. And be careful with the branches, that you don't crush any branch that you might or might not use. And this tree is a pine, is a silver crest. It's a kind of Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris, I think. But you can also do with Douglas fir or whatever type of tree that you have as a Christmas tree. And every tree has a different option and different thing to offer. You can see I just have enough wire for the whole trunk. Just missed a little piece here, but I don't know if we're gonna need this whole part as the top. So when you already have placed the wire, then it's time to bend. And the way you're gonna bend it, you're gonna turn and bend it at the same time. So you want to turn and bend the tree to give it some movement. And you don't want to give like an S shape, but we are just going to give some random movement to the trunk. So that the tree becomes more interesting. So as you can see, we placed the trunk. So we have this nice trunk line, a little bit with a curve, but not too much. This will grow, and then you can try to make as random as possible. Just a little bit more movement, and also movement to the front. So here you can see that the tree is leaning forward, and this is to create, for the person who is going to see the tree, kind of a bowing and effect, and also that the tree is stable and has the appearance of a bigger tree. So now you can start wiring the branches. Here you can see that I left this branch, but actually this one is still way too low. Remove this one too. So here I have the first branch of the tree. Then you can start by cleaning the branch the same way that you clean the trunk of the tree, by removing the needles that are on the branch itself, so that we can apply the wire correctly into the branch. And don't cut the branch too small. We want the length so that the tree thickens and develops over the years. So now that the branches are clean, we can start applying the wire. So you take again, you measure a little bit the length and the diameter of the gauge of the wire that you need. Is more or less 1/3 of the branch, but you can also test it by using if the branch moves and the wire doesn't move, then you have the correct diameter of your aluminum wire. So when you want to always wire two branches with one wire, and in this case we also gonna have the trunk by getting one turn into the trunk so that you have enough force so that the wire is well fixated into the tree so that you can move the wires correctly. So and then you can start by seeing which branch can go together. So I'm gonna start by wiring this branch over here, and you want to be wiring in the direction of where you want to place the branch, and be careful while applying. Take your time to apply the wire, because this is a very, especially when applying the wire, this is a young tree, so the branches are very green, so you can easily crush a branch and break a branch if you apply too much force. So be gentle with it. And to make a tree, you actually just will need a few branches. You have what we call the character branch. That's kind of the branch that shows where the tree is going in direction, and often also the first branch that from the bottom of the tree up, the first branch that the tree has is what we call the character branch. That's often the case, but not always. It's the branch that gives the tree the direction. In this case, this tree is probably the second branch will be the character branch, which will be this one over here on this side, because the tree and the apex, the trunk and the apex is going into one direction. So you have to let the tree lead the dance, and you have to take step by step, and don't try to overthink everything at once. So you just start by cleaning the tree, and then you start applying the first branch, the wire. You already wire maybe the trunk or maybe not, and then the tree will start to get into shape. And you have to just trust the process, and maybe this first time that you apply the wire and form the tree, it won't look as nice as some bonsai pictures that you look up, or the bonsai that you saw during a show. But with bonsai you have to take the time and be patient, because maybe this tree won't look very good today, but maybe in 10 years this can become a very nice bonsai. So with bonsai, it's not about the end result, but all in the process of making it, enjoying the seasons, enjoying the process, meditating with your tree, and getting more in touch with nature and designing. So, and don't cut the branches too short. Leave as long as possible the branches that are left, because once you start putting movement into the branches, they will get a lot shorter, and so don't rush into cutting the branch. So now that you have also to decide when you're going to display the tree, what will be the front of the tree. So in this case, where the tree is leaning forward, what I showed you before, the front will be more or less here. So I can mark it for you. Give it this will be the what we call the front of the tree, where you're gonna display the tree maybe in the future, or at least where you are looking at the tree while designing it for the first time. Once you are done with the wire, you cut the excess wire of that you applied, that you have a nice wired branch. So, and now you will wire first all the branches. You can already, and then we're gonna set the position of the branches later on. And before you do this, you can already remove some of the branches that you didn't remove before, which is branches that are occurring like this one here, branches that are occurring in the inside of a curve. So for example, you have here a branch that's inside this curve that I made. So this branch I can take off. And for the rest, I think branches that are occurring in the same place. So here I have two branches on the same location. So then you can choose which one you're gonna keep. In this case, I will keep the one that's in the back, and then I will remove this one. For the rest, we have pretty much the branches on the right location. So now I can wire the rest of the tree. I'll put the time lapse on and then come back to start to show you how to shape the tree. So now that I wired the whole tree, I'm gonna show you how you can shape it. So we already have our front, so we're gonna look at the front and see how the branches are located. And you can also see that you have to think in 3 dimensions. So important is not to get the branches at the same plane, horizontal plane and a vertical plane, so that you can create the nice tree. So here I'm looking at the tree like this, and we have this first branch over here, and important is that we have all the angles of the branches coming down in the same direction. And to make some planes, I'm gonna remove things that are growing down, and then we're gonna see, okay, our tree is moving, the trunk's moving to this side. To have a little bit more interest in this design, we're gonna make the tree come back on the trunk, so And then you're gonna start to place all the branches on the right direction, and then you can see maybe you will need an extra wire, or you see a branch that needs to go, and this is all about these final touches. And as you go up on the tree, the branches will grow towards the light, so it grow up. So make sure you point the tips up, in this case on this, and then you can look if we don't have anything in the same plane, on the vertical plane, going on the right direction. And then you take a step back, push a little bit more to this side. I'm gonna shorten this branch over here. And then you can come back with your scissors and prune the things that are growing down, the needles that are growing down, and maybe some branches that are growing down, branches that are inside a curve. And I think pretty much have the tree finished. Clean this up. So here we go with the final result of this Christmas tree. As you can see, I didn't even look at the tree, I just got the tree, random tree, Christmas tree, that was looking healthy, and that you can use also from your own Christmas tree. And then you can make a very nice first design to it, and then we're gonna let the tree recover. In the spring you can put in bonsai soil, which is a more soil that gets more air in between, like with some pumice, or with akadama and pumice that I use. So it's like 50-50, 50% akadama, 50% pumice. And then you can put into a nice bonsai pot, or you can put it in a bigger pot to let it grow more. And this tree, for the thickness of the trunk, you can always choose to make the tree shorter, but I left the tree as tall as possible. I didn't even want to cut the small piece that was here, but I just cut it to have a nice final image to it. But it will be even nicer if we have the tree shorter, because of the girth, the thickness of the trunk. So the thicker the trunk, the nicer it is. But now we have like this also very nice slender pine tree. And the first time that you design this tree will always look a little bit symmetrical, but in the future this tree you can remove even more branches, and let the branches that are growing well and that contribute to your design grow further, and yeah, remove the wire. And this is like the process of turning a simple tree like this into your first bonsai. Enjoy your holidays. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and there is a lot more to come in 2024. I see you next time in Bonsai Den Haag.